You need that? Expiry date. That's what I want to talk about today. And I'm going to use coffee. We'll make coffee together and then we'll come back here to talk about that concept. So come with me. All right, let's go. So this is our studio, and this is one of the perks you get when you work with Jordan the Magician and Cupid, right? Come on. So we got all of this space, but what we're looking for is the coffee machine. Every day in the morning, I make myself a coffee. It's my therapy. There you go. Can you smell it? Oh, 9 seconds is good. The smell of coffee. After this, what I do is I get the milk, and Brody being Brody, he doesn't drink milk. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. But every milk bottle or every milk carton has got this expiry date. That's the point. I want to talk about the matter or the problem of the expiry date. Now let's go back in the studio and I'll finish this thing. We're back. Back in action. So let me talk to you about the expiry date. You noticed that in the carton it said best before. So the expiry dates are there in products for a reason. Reason number one, obviously for safety reasons. Because it's a mass production, you want to make sure that people will consume the product before the product is expired. You know, there's bacteria, there's all of the things that could happen, food poisoning and all of that. So that's one. Second one is demand control. You want to make sure, as a farmer, you want to make sure that you produce enough for the demand, not too much, not too little, so it's not scarce, but at the same time, you're not throwing anything away. And the third reason is the most obvious ones. The expiry date is there to warn us. Now, some of the products, they will have a longer shelf life, even after the expiry date, which is, it's just a safety thing. But the expiry date is there to warn us. It's to say, hey, consume this before this date. It's a warning. Like every product on the shelf, every coffee, every milk, every fruit, every meat, every food that you eat, we have an expiry date. We all do. Human beings, animals, any form of life, we have an expiry date. And it's a warning. It's saying, look, your life is coming to an end. The Bible says 70 or 80 years, and anything after that is just toil. Enjoy while it's still valid. Enjoy your life while it's still healthy. Like the book of Ecclesiastes will say, enjoy your youth, the years of your youth, get married, be happy, marry the wife of your dreams. But know that when you get old, you will give an account to all these things. That's an expiry date. Death is a reality to all of us. All of us. Death, I like to say that death is the greatest equalizer. Everyone's the same. When I think about this, as morbid as that sounds, that helps me with my perspective. I wake up every day in the morning, and I have a routine in the morning. When I wake up, I look in the mirror, and I say, good morning, masterpiece. No, I don't. But I sit down by the bed, and it takes me about 2 to 3 minutes. It's a slow process. I put my feet on the ground, and then I search for reasons to thank God for another day, literally. Because the reality is some days you wake up and you just don't want to wake up. You're like, oh, another day. That's just the reality of life. Life is not that fairy tale every day. And some days I'm looking for reasons to thank God. I'm like, oh, what do I thank God for? And I start the day with gratitude because it's a magnet. You start with gratitude and things will get back. Things will come back to you. So I look around, and when I don't find any reason, when I'm really, really having a bad day from the get-go, I take a deep breath. And as my lungs are filled, I go, God, thank you for the air in my lungs. That's enough, because that keeps me going. Because I know one day, this air is not going to be there. One day, this is going to be my last breath. And thank God today no one died. None of my relatives died. None of my children died. My wife is still alive. Thank you, God. That's how I think about death. It's not a morbid exercise. It's actually a gratitude exercise. I'm grateful for being alive. You see, I don't think the problem that people have is with death itself or with the expiry date, for the sake of this conversation. It's okay to have an expiry date. The problem is letting the product rot while it's still useful. A lot of people will face this situation. A lot of people will face that problem. A life without meaning, a life without purpose. This is my favorite book, and I want to read a passage from this book to help inspire you in that idea of an expiry date. But here are 2 tips before we read this. 2 tips for you. Different from the milk with the expiry date, we have a few ways to use the life inside of us while it's still time. The number 1 is to make it last. You can create memories. I remember a long time ago, I shared a message that it's still echoing these days, and I said the job of any parent is to create memories. And those memories are what the kids are gonna remember forever. These are the values, these are the systems that we create in our family. So you can make it last. And the second one, you can make it count. Make it last and make it count. If you're gonna do anything that's worth doing, that thing is worth doing well. Be present. That's what I mean. So if you're enjoying time with your family and creating memories, drop the phone. My youngest daughter says that all the time. Daddy, drop your phone. And I'm like, oh, I have to be reminded of my own thing. I think I've said in one of the videos before, they don't want more from you. They want more of you. That's what makes the whole difference. Make it count. Be present, because sooner or later you will look back and you will remember those times and you go, what you don't want to feel like is feeling like you could have done it better. You have to live life with no regrets. Life with no regrets. You know the saying, YOLO, you only live once. So if you only have one life, you might as well live well. And I'm not talking about wealth and riches and all that. I'm talking about enjoying what you have now, the present. The present, the past is gone. The future is uncertain. The only thing you have is right now. You don't know if you're going to be alive in the next second. You might be watching this video right now and your expiry date might be the next minute. So what are you doing right now? Maybe it's a waste of time for you to be watching this video. Maybe you're watching this video and it's like, I'm wasting my time on social media. I should stop that. Just before we were doing this, we were talking about some of the social media platforms. Maybe it's a waste of time. Think about it. How do you make it last? How do you make it count? And for that, I want to read a passage to you. It's in the book of Ecclesiastes. They say it's one of the most depressing books of the whole Bible. Someone rip off Ecclesiastes from my Bible. Psalms, Proverbs, where are you? Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Look at the title. Man, look at the title of my thing. Death comes to all. Death comes to all. It is the same for all, since the same event happens to the righteous and the wicked, to the good and to the evil, to the clean and to the unclean, to him who sacrifices and to him who does not sacrifice, which means to the religious person and the not religious person. It happens to everyone. As the good one is, so is with the bad one. Also, the hearts of the children of men are full of evil, and the madness in their hearts while they live, and after that they all go to the dead. Now here's the good news. This is what I want to focus on. But he who is joined with all the living has hope. Death is not the final destination. Death is a passage for us. Death is just a bridge to a better state, to a better situation, a better circumstance. And for now, what we're giving here, I think it's a test. Remember that movie, I think it's called The Firm, when Al Pacino tells the guy, everything is a test. Everything is a test. How are you going with your test? What are you making of your life? Inside of this vessel of yours, some of us have a better vessel than the others. Inside of that vessel, there's a spirit. You have an expiry date. At the end, the spirit goes back and the body goes back to earth. How are you using that content? How are you using it before the expiry date? So here's a famous quote that I've been using in a few of my videos, so we can finish this conversation in a good tone. Live as if you're dying, so you don't die as if you have never lived. You got that? Live as if you're dying, so you don't die as if you had never lived. And with that, my friend, I wish you all the best. I hope you meditate upon these things, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been of great value to you. If you have watched to this point, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the comments. Make sure you make yourself known. Introduce yourself in the comments. And if you want more, if you want to if you want to dive deeper into some of these things, we have a community on Patreon. You can find the link down in the description, and when you click there, you'll be directed to our community where you have exclusive content, and you join us in the most noble mission to show people the path to happiness. Oh wow, that's a good advertising right there. All right, God bless. I'll see you on the next one.